Hello friends, my name is Masood. Today we shall discuss about a topic, the project stakeholders. Friend, this is a very important topic with respect to PMP or project management, especially if you are a student and planning to give exam of PMP, or you are a project manager and working in any organization as a project manager. So this is a very important topic. So let's start, friend. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my new videos can reach to you. So let's start, friend. Project stakeholder. Friend, if you just see the term project stakeholder, that means some person who has some stake or share in a project, positively or negatively. So that is called as project stakeholders. Again, read the term project stakeholder. That means a person who has some stake, has some share in the project. This share can be positive or this share can be negative. So according to the Project Management Institute or PMI, project stakeholders are defined as individuals and organizations who are actively involved in the project or whose interest may be positively or negatively affected as a result of a project execution or successful project completion. Basically, friend, any person who has interest or share in the project, where this interest can be positive or negative, so this person will be considered as a project stakeholder as a definition of PMI, a Project Management Institute. In other words, your project stakeholders are the people or group of people who have something to gain or lose from your project's outcome. Basically, gain means, for example, any vendor who is implementing the project. So obviously he will gain the things if he is successful to implement the project. And lose means, friend, any other vendor, like if you implement your solution, so the other party solution will be obsoleted or damaged, for example. So he will lose if you succeed. So he will be a negative stakeholder. Okay, friend. Now, friend, uh, stakeholders are there are two types of stakeholder. One is internal stakeholder and the second one is the external stakeholder. Internal stakeholders are those which are coming from within the house. Internal stakeholders are people or groups within the business, such as team members, managers, executive, and so on. For example, you are a vendor and you are implementing a e-commerce solution for a bank, for example. So the internal stakeholders are internal. That means, for example, the functional manager, the CEO, the project manager, the technical lead. So all those persons are internal stakeholders. The other type is the external stakeholders, are those as you can probably guess, people or group of people outside the business. This includes customer, users, suppliers, third party vendors, investors. So all those are the type of external stakeholder. So basically we have two types, internal stakeholder and external stakeholders. Now the example of stakeholders. Friend, this is a very important topic that you must have to know the example of stakeholder. Project manager. Project manager is a very important stakeholder for a project. If you can just see the term project manager, so project manager means a person who is managing the project. So obviously a project manager from customer side or project manager from vendor side, to any type, like from customer side or from vendor side, project manager is a very important stakeholder. Like he has a big interest in the execution of a project. Why? Because his job is dependent on the execution of a project. His core responsibility is to manage a project. Okay. Then the team members means, for example, if you are implementing e-commerce solutions, so team member means, like for example, the software engineers, software developers, the technical leads, database engineers. So all those are the persons who are team members. So they have a great interest in the execution of a project, in the success of a project. Then the managers means, like suppose, for example, the functional managers, the financial managers, these sorts of managers are a good example of stakeholder. Then the resource managers means, the especially the functional managers, like resources are reporting to them. Like for example, software engineers are reporting to the head of the department or functional manager. they are also having a good, very big interest in the execution of a project because their team involved, so they have a great interest in the execution of project. Executive means, for example, the for example CEO, CTO, these sorts of people are having a great interest because the money is involving, so they are having a great interest in the project execution. The senior management means, for example, the head of the department, project head, any other senior management, like senior manager of functional resources. So they are also a great example of stakeholder. Company owner are the biggest, you can say, the stakeholder, because they are providing the funding, they are providing the funds for the execution of a project. So directly they are not involving directly into the project execution, but they have a great interest and great concerns about the execution of a project. Then the next one is the investors are those who are investing in the project. Project sponsors are those persons which are not only providing the funds for the project, but they are very big persons who are promoting the project, who are approving the deliverables. Financial persons that are providing the finance for the project. Suppliers are third party suppliers. For example, if you are implementing e-commerce solutions, so they are providing the hardware, for example software, any type of construction material, for example. So the supplier are also very important stakeholder. Vendors mean, for they are providing some services, any type of software services or other any other type of services which are necessary for the execution of project. Consultants, who are providing consulting services or guidance for the execution. Customers are very big important stakeholder. End user means the user that they will use the product at the end of the execution, like once the project or product completed, so they are the end user are the users who will use the ultimately user of the application. Then how to do the stakeholder analysis, friend? You must have to identify your stakeholders, like who are your stakeholders. Then prioritize your stakeholder. Prioritize means that you have to identify what are their priorities, what actually they want. Okay, first of all you have to identify the stakeholders, then you have to prioritize the priorities of your stakeholder. That means which stakeholder are more important, which are less important. Okay, then understand your stakeholders. Understanding means that you have to understand that actually what they want from you, what they want from the project execution, and based on that you have to behave, you have to analyze your stakeholders accordingly. So friend, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and thanks for watching the video. Thank you.